How's it going?
Good. I love your background.
Thank you. Yeah, workshop.
Are you working tonight after this?
For a little while longer, yeah.
Okay.
Top season, so we're busy.
Yeah, and I imagine I definitely want to get into how the bike repair business has changed for you, but let's start with who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Benjamin Kehoe. I'm the owner of Bikes and Coffee. We're a bike shop, coffee shop here in Woodbridge, right near Wayne State. We focus on building custom bikes and full service repair, all that good stuff. And then we're a full service cafe, easy grab and go drinks, breakfast burritos, planted Detroit salads, drought juice, try to keep the options healthy.
And are you open for sit down coffee at the moment?
We are. We've got a lot of our seats pulled, but I'd say there's like 10 or 12 seats plus or minus, and then outdoor dining in the front and the back.
Okay. And for everybody out there, don't let the background fool you, because the coffee shop is very comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like a cafe. You're not like, just nestled among the bike tires. So
Not at all. Not at all.
Although you can see the repair shop, it's all part of it. So it's kind of a cool experience.
Tucked in the corner.
What is your background as far as getting you to a place where you thought, let me open a bike repair and coffee shop?
Sure, yeah. Longtime bike rider. One of my first jobs was a bike mechanic, and then kind of got out of the bike industry for a while and became a carpenter, did some other things, got back in the industry, and was like, man, that's where I want to be. The bike industry is a lot of fun. And then Detroit was doing what it was doing like 10 or more years ago, and I was working at a shop in the suburbs and was like, let's open a shop down there. And he wasn't so down because he's got a busy shop in the burbs to handle, but I'm like, I'm going to go for it, and here we are.
And so where did the coffee component come in?
I experienced a cafe in Portland that had a bike shop in it, or it was very much a bike shop that had a cafe in it, and it's like, okay, that's really what we need in Detroit, because Michigan is really a seasonal cycling industry. The Pacific Northwest, they're servicing bikes all year round. People are more into biking. A little restricted here with the colder months, so it's booms in the spring and the summer, and then goes on hiatus, and it's like, what can we do to supplement the income the other half of the year?
Okay. And so when did you open?
October of 2018.
Okay. And how? Let's see. So why did you pick the space that you're in? How did you come to rent there?
I had a business partner in this that introduced me to the space. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. My dogs are barking too.
Nico. Somebody introduced me to the space. My old partner. Sorry, Jan. Can I grab this really quick?
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay.
Go for it.
Sorry.
So while we wait for Benjamin to come back, if anybody has any questions that you want him to answer, just throw them in the chat, and be more than happy to ask him, and we'll get some questions answered. So it sounds like they have a shop dog. Last time I was there was a shop cat. Like I said, the shop is in my neighborhood, so often, especially pre-COVID, used it as an opportunity to have business meetings and meet with neighbors and things like that. So it's always been, just a really great resource for our neighborhood. As we mentioned, it's the Woodbridge Historic District. All good?
Yeah, customer just coming to grab his bike really quick.
Okay, got it.
In and out. He was running over late. Trying to get
the doorbell alerted you.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's see. So you were talking about the space. So you said your business partner showed it to you, and was it just like, yeah, this is perfect?
Yeah, it was a mess. It hadn't been occupied in really 50 or 60 years. It had been used as storage, but the location, edge of Wayne State's campus, the neighborhood is like one of the coziest neighborhoods, I think, in the city. And it was like, all right, well, this is it. Let's do it. Let's renovate this space and turn it into the neighborhood spot. Try to.
It's such a great fit. So first of all, I was just kind of, as you ran off for a minute, I was kind of starting to talk about Woodbridge because that's a neighborhood that I've lived in for over 20 years. And it's a super cool neighborhood, very diverse. But somehow we sustained ourselves for that, for 20, 30 years with no coffee shop. Like, how did that even happen? So bringing that to the neighborhood was just so badly needed. And we're also a neighborhood of people that love to bike. So I think it's just really kind of like a perfect fit. And I think there's a lot of need that you've filled.
That's how it felt some years ago when we decided on the space. Yeah.
So Chris wants to know, how much fun is it owning a business, mixing two passions?
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of stress, especially after this past year. But no, it's been a blast. Like, get to meet so many incredible people. The space really brings. That's like the most rewarding part. The people that come into this space it's wild.
So you worked at a bike shop or several bike shops. So you like to bike. So it seems pretty like you probably came to the bike repair part of the business pretty easily. What did it take to, learn how to own and operate a coffee shop?
Still learning all the things. There's something new every day. But one of our main roasters, Hyperion, Eric Mullins, shout out, gave me a lot of tips, like walked me through a lot. An old manager we have, Derek Busman, taught us a lot, helped get the program running. And now that we have this space, it's been seasonally different challenges to learn from, but it's a hospitality job. So it's like, as long as you can provide like a good service, I think that, as long as you're delivering a good product, the following will come.
How has the coffee part of the business evolved since you've opened? I'm assuming you kind of learned what people liked, what they didn't like, what was selling, what wasn't selling. Can you give me an example of like how that process was of evolving the business to serve, your clientele?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest change is we're full non-dairy now. So you can't get any dairy milk in your coffee here. It's almond and oat milk. Whole milk was one of the only things we really wasted, and half and half creamer because it has a shorter shelf life, takes up a lot of fridge space, and weekly delivery would show up. If we didn't use it all, then we had to dump it out. And so really was able to look at the numbers, and the numbers were there. A few customers are disappointed when we don't have whole milk, but ultimately I'm like, let me make you an oat milk latte, and if you don't like it, then I'll give you your money back. But it's easier for us to manage, and our numbers show it.
Well, and I think that's really positive. I think it just says a lot of it about the customer base because most of them are drinking non-dairy milk. So as somebody who's like completely on a plant-based diet, I can really appreciate the fact that, that information, like that anecdotal evidence that people are moving towards non-dairy. So that makes me feel
it's
good.
pretty cool. Yeah, same. I'm not a vegan or vegetarian, but I don't really do dairy, and I think all the choices we can make that are like healthy for ourselves and the planet. It's what we should be doing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so talk to me how the bike business has evolved for you. So like how many bikes would you say you service on a given week or a given month? Like, can you give us an idea of like, what crazy busy means?
Yeah, I mean, more than a handful a week, appointment based, and then walk-ins all the time. It's really hard to say, but like if we work on 15 to 20 bikes in a week, like that's probably a lot. And like it hasn't really evolved much. I wanted to be a shop that built custom bikes, and then that focused on service, and that's still what we do. Kind of just growing into some of the like nicer brands that we want to carry, and all that. And then this year's been challenging. There's like parts shortages and all kinds of issues related to the bike boom and manufacturing slowdowns, logistical issues, all those good things. So yeah, but it hasn't really evolved much other than just growing into what I really wanted to grow into.
And so what is that? What was the vision?
Just to build custom bikes and then just do service. Like there's a lot of really good parts manufacturers out there, and then bikes are not really a one-size-fits-all item. So it's like if you're going to build a forever bike and buy something that you're going to put a lot of time into, then there's a lot of changes that can be decided, or a lot of things that can be decided during a build so it fits you the best that it can. Like there's nothing wrong with buying a bike right off the floor and riding it. But if you're going to spend the money on something and really try to do some really intentional cycling, then you want it to fit. So focusing on the custom builds and doing all that.
And do you feel like you're known for building custom bikes at this point?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, we don't do a ton. We're still, I think, like a growing cycling scene here in the city, as well as just people learning about the shop. But yeah, I mean, I built more than I expected in that first year, which was really cool, and then a handful through COVID, which was more than you can expect when you're not really open for business because we were closed and we were just appointment only. And so, yeah, people definitely reach out with specifically dealing with us for that, which is cool.
So, yeah, the obligatory COVID question, because I know you guys closed, as everybody did. So I would guess that, coffee was down, but bikes, considering how many people want to recreate outside, bikes probably went up. So is that a fair assessment? Is that a fair prediction of kind of like how things went?
Yeah, definitely. And, at the beginning when it was just too uncertain, it was kind of easier to just say like, I'm going to focus on bikes and put the food service on hold for a minute. Also, we were in the process of building out a kitchen, like a little bit in November and then a little bit in December before COVID hit. And then when it hit, we weren't done with our kitchen build out. And so now that is complete. It was easy to just like focus on bikes and then get the kitchen done and then open with kind of our like expanded food service program that we were planning on launching like that spring.
So tell me about the food service. What kinds of things will you be providing?
So we used to do these breakfast burritos as a pop-up on the weekend. Our good friend Merck lives in the neighborhood, and him and our friend Carlos did these breakfast burritos. Merck's a really talented chef, just at home chef. He wouldn't take that kind of credit, but super talented, and was doing these breakfast burritos, and they were a hit. We would sell out in 4 to 5 hours on Saturday and Sunday, and it was kind of like, okay, that's like what our customer base said at the time was like, well, you need more food in here, like consistently, all that. And it's like, we only have so much space. So now that we built out our kitchen, we've got the breakfast burritos all the time, a vegan and a veggie option. And then
how did I not know this?
I don't know. Spread the word, please.
Do you serve them all day or just for breakfast?
No, all day. So our hours currently 8 to 4, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And, maybe at the end of the day we might be sold out, but we're batching them out fresh every day. So, depending on how sales are going, we're making them fresh pretty much every day because we're getting pretty busy again. So a lot of customers coming back, and the word of the breakfast burrito is spreading.
So did I hear you say you're just open Friday, Saturday, Sunday now?
And Monday.
And Monday. Okay.
Yeah.
We have a vote for tater tots from Carlton.
Okay, Carlton, I hear you. Yes.
So any plans to kind of open, I think you were open 6 or 7 days a week previously. Any plans to go back to that?
Not for a while. We were 7 to 7, 7 days a week before, which is a lot of hours. I would like to get back there, but we just got to get back to like kids going back to school full time and to really justify it. Like we were pretty busy often, the 7 to 8 o'clock hour was like our slowest time, but we would often be busy right until 7 p.m. Pre-COVID. And so, I would love to get back there and get a bunch more seats down and get people hanging out again. It was busy before, so it's like we'll get there, but currently probably not until fall, winter. We won't expand hours.
We will definitely get there. Somebody just asked a question. So if somebody wanted a custom bike from you, what is the process of figuring out what they want, like how to customize it with them? Like what if I walked into your shop or made an appointment and said I want a custom bike, walk me through, how you go about like building that for them.
Sure. So first questions would be, what type of mountain bike exactly, where are you going to be riding it, what type of terrain, and then what's your budget? How much money do you want to spend? Bikes are wild nowadays. You can spend $500 on a bike and you can spend $15,000 on a bike, on just a pedal bicycle without a motor, and so some people had no idea bikes cost that much, and some of my customers are like on board to spend, a few $1,000s or more, $5,000+ like gets you like a really nice bike. But that's really where you got to start. You got to know and to build a custom bike, especially a mountain bike, it's not a cheap price point.
Mm-hmm. Right, because I'm guessing all the parts or like the main parts are probably like US made, super high quality. You're going to spend money on a bike, customize it, you want it to last.
Absolutely. And there's still definitely foreign made parts, that some of those parts are still great, but like we like to use American made parts. That adds, a serious price point or a serious, increase in the price point. But yeah, even with them being foreign made parts, like you got to spend the money for quality. And if you're going to put all that time and effort into it, then that's what you should do,
Absolutely.
And the other thing would be to go visit, to book an appointment with one of our bike fitters. Jessica Braddis, she's out of Sick Transit. It's a bike shop in Ann Arbor. Her business is called Bike Fit Me. And then my friend Brian Adams, Adams Sports Medicine. Both of those two individuals are incredibly smart bike fitters, and like that gives me all the data to purchase all the right parts to make this thing fit you to the best of your ability.
And so when you talk about fitting, you want to look at like how tall are you, how long are your legs, how are your knee bends, things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of details. I'm not a bike fitter, so I can't really tell you, but there are different lengths of almost every part you can imagine, widths, all the things as far as saddle height, saddle width, crank arm length, stem length, handlebar width, height, amount of spacers. And when you go spend a couple hours with either one of these individuals, you'll learn a lot about your ergonomics, and then just be totally blown away and realize why so many other bikes you've ridden in your life just didn't really feel that good, or
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine everybody, our bodies are so all completely different. Having a custom bike, it's like, having like a suit fitted for you or something like that. It's made for you. Yeah. Just something I never would have thought about before.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, and I didn't until I learned it, and I was a bike mechanic for many years until I realized how intentional you can be. But then that's kind of the reality is you can walk into a bike shop and spend $2,000 or $3,000 on a bike, without getting a bike fit and might have a really bad experience on that bicycle. So your neck hurts, or the saddle doesn't fit right, all these things. But if you put a little more intention into the purchase, then you'll get what you really want.
So let's talk about the van, the iconic yellow orange van. So did the van like kind of enter the scene with the shop? Did it exist beforehand? Like, what do you do with it? Are you rescuing people? Are you picking up bikes?
We do pick up some bikes from time to time, but not much like service calls with it. I have no idea why I bought the van. I wanted a van, and then I was looking for a car out of state, and I found it in the Pacific Northwest for like less than $3,000, and it had very low miles, and I don't know. So I bought the van out west and flew out there, and then drove it back, just kind of on a whim.
Was it always yellow, or did you have it like a full paint job?
It was always yellow. It was a property maintenance company from like the 90s, and so it's on the side it said "Don't get stung," and there was a big wasp. And it's property maintenance, and then there was some phone number, like some contact info. And the guy like started the business. His business like blew up. He had like, I don't know, like 10 or more vehicles like in his fleet or something, and the van just became like a shop car for them and didn't really get used. It was really funny. He was a character, but yeah, it was.
Sounds like it was meant to be.
It was fun. It was awesome. Yeah, I drove across the country, checked out a bunch of stuff, rode my bike everywhere I stopped, and got out of Detroit for like 2 weeks. No breakdowns.
Yeah, and it's definitely great advertisement for you because it is like super iconic. Like you recognize it immediately when you see it.
Yeah, it's funny because it wasn't really a part of the plan, and then when I saw it on this Craigslist ad, I'm like, I gotta have this thing, and called the guy and pretty much bought it over the phone.
Love that.
Thank you.
So we're just coming up on like 5-7 minutes before we're gonna close this up. So just a couple more questions for you. So what did you think it was going to be like before you started the business versus what it's actually like? Like, do you have an example of like something where you envisioned it would be a certain way and now you're like, oh yeah, I don't know what I was thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a hard question just because the pandemic like threw it for a loop, so it's totally different than what it was. But yeah, I don't know. Like the cool thing about it is there's so many like people in the neighborhood and like different staples that just like come and go that I didn't realize what it would be like with that, like in such a like communal way, like people having their like moments in the shop or something. And I don't know. It's turned into kind of like what we like hoped it turned into, what we had wrote the business plan for. So I don't know how to answer that really.
That's okay. Yeah. So that kind of like segues into my next question was just like, what has the community provided? I kind of feel like one thing I can say about our neighborhood is like we absolutely like want you to succeed. Like we're probably like your biggest cheerleaders, you know what I mean? Like we just love the idea of having a business like that and like want to do everything we can to support it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, in the pandemic, a lot of people like call, check in, see if we're open for coffee, and fill them in that we're just like laying low for a minute, gonna figure it out. And when we opened, I mean, so many familiar faces that just started showing up again, and they're like so happy for us to be back, and like Yeah, I mean, they provide a consistent customer base, which is what we need to stay alive. Small business is wild, but there's a lot of consistent people in the neighborhood, a lot of Wayne State students, and it's really cool to feel like a part of something, you know, part of someone's day. It's just that moment in their day, but you know, it's cool for sure.
So, uh, what is what's next? Like, do you have anything planned for the rest of the year? Somebody asked about like any events that you might be planning. Anything you can share?
Sure, yeah. We're gonna do an Alley Cat this month. Stay tuned. All the bike friends out there that race bikes. An Alley Cat is like a scavenger hunt on bikes. And there's kind of two categories, like the easy category, come out, have fun, just do it with your friends. Like, it's not a race against the clock. And then there's the tryhards, all the guys that just like gotta prove something.
The sore losers.
Well, it's just like you have a blast. You like the tryhards, like it's like people that know the city, they ride faster bikes, and they want to like kind of do the scavenger hunt as fast as they can. Just like personal challenge almost. But we'll host one of those. We're doing a flea market on the 19th of this month. My partner Ashlyn is doing a bunch of stuff. We just did a plant swap last weekend. Sorry if you missed it. We're going to do another one. Stay tuned. And then, yeah, we're working on a second business down the street. Like sustainable home goods, plant store, bulk soaps. It's my partner's brainchild, but I'm helping execute it. It's really early in the works. Maybe open next summer or something, but stay tuned for that. We'll be doing some stuff, trying to get the word out. So
that's exciting. Where is it also going to be in the neighborhood?
It is. There's a little green building across the street from the Woodbridge Pub.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be in there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
So just as parting words, I want to thank you so much for just taking a small amount of your time out for me. If people want to know about what's going on, the plant swap, they don't want to miss out on a second of information, like what's the best way to keep up with Bikes and Coffee?
Probably the Instagram. We do share a little bit on Facebook too. Bop into the shop. Come say hey. We'll tell you what's going on.
Okay. Well, awesome. So everybody, thank you. My name is Jan, and I've been speaking with Benjamin Kehoe from Bikes and Coffee. I want to let you know that every Wednesday I talk to a different entrepreneur, small business owner, usually in the city of Detroit. So if you know anybody that I should talk to, please shoot me a DM. And with that being said, thank you so much, and have a good night, Detroit.
Thanks, Jan. We'll see you later.
Okay. Bye.